the world's best dogfighter. Oh. I left the camera on, didn't I? Little. Hey everybody, I am Bacon Ninja, and this is the radio I use when I fly FPV drones. It has lots of switches on it. A nice big fat LCD screen, some nice aluminum gimbals, and all the custom stuff that us FPV pilots want. This is the DJI motion controller. One of these things is not like the other. And we are talking about the motion controller today because this is what DJI chose to ship with their Avata Cinewhoop FPV drone, the newest FPV drone in their lineup to hit the market. But is this thing a complete fail on DJI's part or absolute genius? Well, I put a lot of thought into it. And today, I want to tell you what I think. If you are watching this as a non-FPV pilot, let me just give you some background on what it takes to become an FPV pilot, because I don't think it translates well when we walk down the street and talk to somebody and we have a cool drone t-shirt on and they ask us about our drones and we say, yeah, we fly an acro and all this cool stuff. They have no idea what that means. Well, we put in hundreds, if not thousands of hours to become proficient at just the flight side of the skill. On top of that, we put in hundreds, maybe thousands of hours to figure out the technical aspects of the skill. Because unlike DJI products where you can just send them to care refresh when things break or you can call support, we have to maintain our fleets ourselves, and a lot of us build our fleets ourselves. I built most of the drones on the wall back there. So we have a lot of pride in our end of the hobby. Rightfully so. We spend a lot of time doing it. There's a lot of skill and effort involved, and we try to portray that whenever possible. Sometimes to our detriment, sometimes people appreciate it. You never can tell. And when it comes to things like new drone releases, especially from DJI because they are such great drones, we get a little upset when we weren't the focus of it. And sometimes we assume we are the focus. And you know, that's again because we spend so much time honing this immeasurable skill that we really can't show anybody or explain to anybody. It's kind of like living in a silo within our own little community, sometimes even within ourselves. And we just can't express that to everybody else, no matter how much we want them to understand, enjoy it with us, and then reciprocate some of that joy we have for how much we've acquired. It's just impossible to do in the limits of our own personal contexts. So that being said, the motion controller is not focused on us FPV pilots. And that's really because DJI's market is not us. We are a very small segment. I think, along with Joshua Bardwell, who discussed this on a live stream, DJI does listen to our community. They take it in consideration. But we are a very small whispering voice in a room full of yelling people that are the worldwide consumer market they are targeting. And that consumer market wants to go into Best Buy, buy a drone, get it home, have the batteries already charged, they want to just skip that step, pop it in the drone, get it up in the air, and enjoy the experience of flying. And at the end of the day, don't we all, even us FPV pilots, we do this because we love flying. We're also a little twisted in the head and like to do really difficult things that are maybe sometimes pointless just because we say we can. But that's just us. That's our segment of the hobby. If you're out there as not an FPV pilot, you probably just want to go buy the Avata and use the controller and make it easy and not have to put in 100 hours before you have any fun with the drone and worry about crashing the thing the whole time. That's not where your focus is. And that's why I think this isn't a fail. I think this was absolutely genius on DJI's part. The motion controller is actually an old item. It was developed around the time as the original FPV drone from DJI, or the FPV potato, as us FPV pilots like to call it, because it is shaped like a potato. It is essentially the consistency of potato, and if you put sour cream on it, you really want to eat the thing. And there has to be a warehouse full of these somewhere because it didn't go over very well with that drone. That drone was really not designed to be flown like this, which the motion controller does. It was designed for speed. And I really don't know why. A lot of the shots they did in their promotional material involved speed and manual mode, which is much more akin to the FPV radio that I fly, where you have to use your thumbs for all the skill. But the new Avata is a Cinewhoop. And again, if you don't know what a Cinewhoop is or why that is a differentiator, a Cinewhoop flies slower, has ducts to protect the props so you can kind of bump into things, and it has a pretty long flight time. It's not designed to zoom around quickly with open props and be dangerous and be shaped like a potato. So even if DJI did just offload a bunch of these on the drone community or their consumer community to get them out of a warehouse, I still think it's genius. Because people are going to take this home and they're going to get their stuff out and they're going to charge it with their USB-C chargers, because that's how you charge all of the DJI stuff. They're going to plug it into their phones, which are already in their pockets. I wish the DJI apps were in the official app store, but they are not. You have to download them in an APK if you're running Android. You know, one small little hurdle. But once you plug that in, all the firmware will update and you will be ready to get in the air. And all you have to do is start this controller up, move it forward to go down, move it upward to go up, twist it left to go left, twist it right to go right, pull the trigger to go faster. It is incredibly simple. And people are going to get those goggles on their face, and they're going to get their controller in their hand, and they're going to enjoy FPV. And some of us FPV pilots are going to be upset about that. Why would we be upset about that? Because those people didn't spend hundreds of hours honing a skill like we did. We did it the hard way. We went the long way around. We didn't just go put this on our hand, pull a trigger, and get FPV footage out of a drone whose camera isn't separate from our FPV camera, because a lot of us pilots do fly separate cameras. We normally don't have a single camera for shooting and flying. So it's just too easy. And these people don't deserve the credit for how easy it is. I think that's the wrong train of thought. I think that this is terrific. We're going to get FPV in people's hands who just walk into Best Buy, have no idea how to fly a drone. They're going to be able to do it with this safely with all the controls that DJI has in place. It's going to be remote ID compliant. It is over 250 grams and will need to be registered, but that's going to be made very clear to people who purchase it. They will have to figure out the registration process. That is all based on your country, and here in the United States, I would say the average consumer does not know that needs to happen, but they should. Regardless, they're going to be able to walk out of Best Buy with this, go put it on their face, connect it all up, and fly, and enjoy FPV. And then it's going to get them addicted to FPV, because you can't possibly take on the abilities of a bird and not feel awesome. Human beings were not designed to fly, else we would have wings coming out of our backs. So it's one of the few things we can't do. We can swim, we can run, we can climb, we can jump, we can swing from ropes, we have opposable thumbs and can do all kinds of crazy things. But we can't fly. It's one of the few things in the animal kingdom we cannot acquire ourselves without external help. This is that external help. So we're gonna bring a bunch of new people into the FPV market who were just strolling around Best Buy, wanted to buy a really cool drone, saw this thing with goggles instead of looking at a controller or a screen, and a jet fighter joystick, and they went and bought it. And then they're gonna fall in love with it, and then they'll probably buy the other controller, which is more normal and has the sticks. And they'll have to put in the time to learn it. But they were already hooked in the first place by this. And just to prove the overall theory of the genius of choosing to put the motion controller in this kit, I did two things. I gave my wife the Avata and the motion controller and the goggles. I put them on her face. I let her play in the simulator on my phone, which runs right inside your goggles from your phone, super simple, for about 10 minutes. Then I took her out to fly, and she was able to fly the thing right out of the box. She had the goggles on her face. She had the motion controller in her hand. She flew safely. She was using me as a spotter, which is the legal requirement here in the United States. The drone was registered, and she was flying under the normal hobbyist rules. Completely legal, having fun, right out of the box, didn't have to spend time in a simulator, did not have to stress and worry. That is the genius that DJI put into this choice, putting the motion control in the box. They nearly gave away stock that they were not going to be able to sell. They brought people into the hobby who would otherwise not be interested by the burdensome learning curve of having to fly with sticks. And they gave us a really good drone the FPV drone should have been in the first place, which is a slower cine-whoop with a decent camera, a really good video system for people who want to use it for more commercial shoots, or FPV pilots that want to fly it with the sticks in manual mode and do crazy things with it that you just cannot do with a motion controller. It works for all those scenarios. But us crazy people that want to do things that don't work with a motion controller are just going to spend the 200 bucks. So they made 2 sales out of 1 sale. And if you're a professional cinematographer, they made 2 sales out of 1 sale, and you probably already purchased the controller too that works with the Avata, so you're not out anything. If you haven't, you're going to purchase it, and you're going to use that and put the motion control in the drawer, or sell it to somebody else who only uses the motion controller, because it's just not going to cut it for your professional shots. But if you're just out having fun and you want the experience, the whole kit is perfect for that. The goggles work flawlessly, effortlessly. They are small and light. The battery life is a little terrible on the goggles. The drone, great camera, great experience, handles well, is very stable, lands itself, takes itself off, has great battery life, very safe and easy to charge those batteries, unlike FPV where we have to charge LiPos with a charger and potentially burn our house down. The motion controller makes it super simple. If you ever had aspirations to be a jet fighter as a kid and you walked around the house doing this, you can fly the Avata with the motion controller. And the second thing I did to prove this after all this long-winded talking is I actually went out and flew it with the motion controller. Now, to remind you, I am an FPV pilot who has put hundreds, if not thousands, I dare not count how many hours I have put into sim time, real stick time, learning all the technical things, all the crazy FPV stuff that us FPV pilots do. I've done it over the past 15 months, so I can fly a drone. So I don't need to use the motion controller. But to end this video, I actually went out, used the motion controller. I flew 2 packs in sport mode, which is the slightly faster mode than normal mode, on the Avata, and turned it into a little cinematic edit. Now don't expect too much from this edit because, again, it is the motion controller. You are limited severely to the kind of movements you can make with it and the steadiness of your tilting and your trigger finger. So it's gonna be kind of a weak cinematic edit, but it is a cinematic edit, and I did it in the first 2 packs, and it's usable, totally usable. So to end the video, here's that.
My heart is a skipping stone. You're the gust of wind that blows. Take me where you wanna go, 'cause anywhere you are is home. Can't lay around my own. I'm trying to find my pulse, but it's gone. Oh, I try to swallow down until you come around. Oh, hold on, 'cause I move my breath, feel you in my chest. I'm living off the thought of you. this home. 'Cause anywhere you are is.
So leave me a comment below if you think that DJI was failing or was absolute genius for putting the motion controller in the box with the Avata kit. Let me know what you think. You know what my opinion is now. Reciprocate that. Tell me what your opinion is in the comments below, whether it be positive or negative. Feel free to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, or a thumbs down if you hated it for some reason, because some people always do that on my videos. It's just gonna be a thing now, I suppose. But anyway, that's it for me. Until next time, I'll catch you later. Stay greasy. I am the world's best dog fighter.